Hello everyone, my name is Javier Martinez, and for today's media report, I want to discuss the rising fentanyl overdoses here in the US. In order to discuss the overdoses, we must first understand what fentanyl actually is. Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid, which is administered for medical reasons. It's used as an anesthetic to treat pain caused by cancer or by surgery. One thing to note is that it's 50 times more potent than heroin, making it a contributing factor to the increasing number of fatal and non-fatal overdoses. It's categorized into two types. There's the pharmaceutical type, and then there's the illicitly manufactured type. And the illicitly manufactured type refers to the type that is sold illegally in drug markets. And the most of the recent overdoses have been linked to fentanyl caused by the illicitly manufactured versions of the drug. And they're often mixed with marijuana and heroin, which makes them highly addictive and super fatal. It can cause side effects such as nausea, vomiting, extreme dizziness. It makes the pupils change in shape and often makes people under the influence fall into a coma and eventually die. US drug overdose deaths have increased significantly during the COVID-19 pandemic. A new report released by the CDC, or Center of Disease Control and Prevention, states that the rise of fentanyl was a major cause of these deaths. As in the year of 2021, almost 70,000 people in the US died due to an overdose of illicitly manufactured fentanyl. In 2021, it was estimated that 2/3 of all overdose fatalities were caused by fentanyl, primarily due to the fact that in illegal drug markets they're selling fake pills which look very similar to authentic fentanyl carrying drugs such as oxycodone, which many people use as an anesthetic to treat extreme pain. And when people try to buy these drugs illegally on the streets, they end up getting tablets which are laced with more fentanyl than usual, causing those deaths. Today, May 3rd, 2023, health officials noted that the number of fatal overdoses involving fentanyl has increased over 279% from the year 2016 to 2021. According to the CDC, over those past 5 years, the number of people who died due to an overdose of fentanyl increased, with a death toll that was 6 deaths per 100,000 people to now a number of 22 deaths per 100,000 people. During that period too, it was noted that the number of fatal drug overdoses involving cocaine and methamphetamine also increased. Among these deaths, it was also noted that young adults were the primary target for these kinds of overdose deaths, with men being affected, then women. Young adults between the ages of 18 and 40 were primarily affected. And although all races were affected, it was also found that Native Americans and African Americans were the ones that were primarily hit hard with these overdose deaths. An issue that has affected local areas, such as here in Long Beach. It was found that the number of people who died to drug overdoses increased within the past 3 years. Many of those individuals were part of the homeless population. Those rising numbers of overdoses was attributed to the drugs fentanyl and meth. According to data from an LA County medical office, the number of fatal overdoses in Long Beach increased from 99 people last year in 2022 from the previous number of 52 people, which was set in 2019. Increase of the homeless population was one of the factors that led to the spike of fatal overdoses. And another cause was that the accessibility of this illicit fentanyl was also one of the main factors to this too. How does this relate to our class? I feel like this relates to our class, as in our class we talked about a lot about human rights and how people all around the world should have access to a reliable health care and the right to essential living items such as like food and shelter. And with this rise of fentanyl overdoses in the homeless population, it brings in the question that should the homeless population be more taken care of by local authorities? When I mean help by local authorities, should we have local authorities open up more homeless shelters or more rehabilitation centers to help with this fentanyl problem? As I feel like with enough rehabilitation centers and homeless shelters, these numbers can spike down, overall getting rid of the problem too. Another way too that this can help is by teaching the younger population about the dangers of fentanyl and meth. Overall, by teaching them the bad effects of fentanyl and meth, it can lead to less deaths. And these were all my sources. Thank you.